My name is Peter Davison. I played the Fifth Doctor, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls.
This week, continue all the way to episode 126 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Good lord. It's going to be one of those people. Anyway. What was I saying? Episode 126. That's what number we're on. Just stick with us, folks. 126 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. I'm leaving this all in. This is funny. So, how many librarians does it take to get Jenkins out of a box? Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week. We go to the virtual table and see who joined us this week.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, good lord.
Hi, everybody.
We're not talking the X-Files this week, so I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, I guess.
Yep. It's Monday. Skype's got a case of the Mondays, but we're going to soldier on through it because we don't know what else to do.
Yeah, there's nothing else. This is all we can do, unfortunately. It's like there's so many of us and we're in different places. This is our best way to do things. So, it's a case of the Mondays. Either that or we can blame it on APEP. That's what it is. Keep it relevant.
There we go. Chaos reigns supreme, unfortunately.
Apparently. So.
Anyway,
we're here and we're tired and we're giving Skype the stink eye, but it is what it is. So. Hey, Hoozles.
So
let's jump into news.
Start with. Yes. And we have actually a small bit of late breaking news that broke just as we were starting next. Salt Lake Comic-Con FanX announced a guest announcement is Berg is coming. You remember he was Matt Parkman in Heroes and
Heroes Reborn.
And Heroes Reborn.
And in Heroes Reborn. And he's been in he's in Star Wars Force Awakens and Star Trek Beyond. He was recently in. He's kind of been all over.
A couple episodes now.
Yep.
Yes, I'm a little bit behind on DC Universe for reasons, but yes. So anyway,
Greg is
I'm gonna have to get his autograph because
Greg
one
is
of my
our
favorites.
random place. We're like, oh, there he is. So.
Yeah. It's like, hey. Which is cool.
He's a super nice guy. I when I was at Lexington, so
yeah,
I talked to him and super nice guy.
Yeah.
So. And totally understood where I was coming from.
It was the con organizers. We start thinking, the games, and it's just like, it's him.
It's Greg Grunberg, who's not all of those.
Yeah, I mean, not that he's not named, but people are throwing around like, Zachary Quinto or I don't know, Chris Pine. I mean, not thinking that that all these teases were connected, that kind of thing. Or they were thinking of some, a Star Wars, like Anthony Daniels, or I don't know who else they were thinking. There were a lot. It was just funny. I'm like, oh, that one all together. Okay.
Yep.
It should be fun. Oh, and then one other thing. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but they did announce that Stan Lee was originally only going to be there Saturday. He is also going to be there on the Friday, so he'll be there both days. So if you are wanting to meet Stan or catch his pan, whatever, he's going to be there the whole time at FanX. So plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Because it's Stanley.
Yes. I forgot to mention that. It's not in the notes, but I remembered that was fairly recently announced. Yeah. And then another convention announcements: Planet Comic-Con out in Kansas City, which our friends at Traveling the Vortex frequent often enough. They announced some other guests: John Barrowman and John's sister Carol Barrowman, who they have written some books together. Mm-hmm. Will be there, and then Will Wheaton will be there as well. So if you're
shut up, Wesley.
So if the Kansas City area, you can check that up. Yep. Yes, shut up, Wesley.
Shut up. Yep. And I know the guys are very excited for John Barrowman to be coming to their neck of the woods, and I'm excited for them because John is a hoot and a half. So.
Oh yes, yes. If you're anywhere near where John's autograph line is, and you're just waiting in line, just wait. He's gonna
be prepared for shenanigans.
Something to do to kind of entertain the crowds.
Yep. So.
Yes, I think I have video of him riding around on a Segway at Salt Lake Comic Con. He's on a Segway on the con floor because why not?
Because I got a Tim Tam from John Barrowman waiting his line, so it's all good. So, and the fact that his sister is going to be there, that's so. If it's
hijinks, I've heard that those two together.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So if you're planning on going to Comic-Con, be prepared for a very good time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my. Oh. And actually, really our only other bit of news is the Super Bowl was yesterday, for those that cared. Sports ball, as people like to call it. I caught the halftime show. That was it. But as it's wont to do with the Super Bowl,
the team I was cheering for did not win.
Yeah.
We won't dwell on that.
Yeah, as they like to do with the Super Bowl, obviously there's commercials that are done specifically for the Super Bowl, and these companies pay exorbitant amounts of money. But also usually there are movie quote-unquote trailers, commercials, whatever you want to call them, that air as well. So we got a couple of new trailers, I'm doing air quotes here, whatever you want to call them. So we got
teasers, TV spots, tomato, whatever. We get new looks at movies we're excited about. How's that?
So we got another spot for the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which this one is way more involved than the previous ones we got, and we actually finally get to see Captain Jack Sparrow. Granted, he's covered head to toe in
he
gunk.
Is indeed in this movie.
But, and we get a really blink and you miss him look at the return of Will Turner. So if you happen to miss him, you
apparently missed because I did not see him.
It's blink and you miss. It is very blink and you miss. So yes, Captain Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean, whenever we're on 5. So yeah, yay pirates! I'm excited. I love this franchise. It's so much fun. And then the other exciting one, which I've watched multiple times since last night. I didn't even get to see it. I didn't realize that. I knew based on our chat that there had been a spot, but I didn't get to see it till I got home. But I've watched it several times since then. So we got a new spot for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And my ribs still kind of hurt from laughing. So we get all, the entire crew, not just, the crew we got from the last movie, but we get more Yondu, we get more Nebula, we get, some more of Mantis, so we get more Rocket being Rocket. Like, Welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
Only he didn't say frickin'.
It looks so good. I mean, it looks exactly what we'd expect for this, Guardians of the Galaxy and the MCU, and it's, exactly what James Gunn promised us and probably more. So, I'm excited. So.
And there were also a couple of TV spots. There, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
This last, and then if you've seen Stranger Things, there was a promo for Stranger Things 2 on Netflix, which
is returning on Halloween.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. On Halloween is when it's going to come out, which I think is
rather appropriate.
Pretty fitting.
Yep.
Yes. Although I loved how it started out with like an old school Eggo commercial, and I'm like, what is this? Oh, I know what this is.
Eggo is.
Like, let go of Eggo. No, wait, let go of 11.
Yes. That was clever. I liked it.
Rocking the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yep, that was good. That was cute. And there's like this giant monster spidery looking thing out in the distance, and like, what the heck is that? Oh, excuse me, but we will
find out.
All will be revealed on Halloween on Netflix.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Stranger Things. I'm sure Chauncey's going to try and figure out how he can binge Stranger Things while scaring little kids on Halloween at the same.
Oh, I'm sure he'll come up with something.
I'm sure he will.
Well, that's it for news, actually. So it's fairly quiet for once, which is good. Well, we're not complaining in this case.
Yeah.
So. Alrighty. Quiet is good sometimes. So let's move on. Do we want to talk the season 3, or do we want to talk the book first?
Does not matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me either. So, I mean,
where does the do we know where the book falls?
The book falls before the season.
Is there any? Okay, well then I guess guys, that would make sense to start there.
Yeah. Oh. I will say,
I confess I haven't read it, but you guys don't worry about spoilers. I'll read it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Librarians. It's not like, jaw-dropping revelations, really, I think. So,
it's a tie-in. Well, they tend to be
so, yeah, the book is actually, it's interesting because I didn't really start reading it until close to the end of the season, and then it took me a while to get through it, but then once I read, I got through the rest of it really quickly. But I'm actually kind of glad that I read this after finishing the season, I guess, for the most part. Because the book, The Librarians and the Lost Lamp, the story structure goes between quote-unquote present day, but it's 2006, but it's actually pre-season 3, and actually probably pre-season 2, because Eve and Flynn are not a thing yet in the book. So you can kind of use their relationship as where it falls, I guess, in the timeline, but it's 2016, and then it bounces between 2006 and 2016. So there's two stories going on at the same time, but then they kind of meet together towards the end. But because it references 2006, which is early on when Flynn was the sole librarian, there's appearances by Charlene and Judson. So, and since we got that, we'll get to that. The kind of the end of Charlene's storyline in the TV series. It's like, oh, Charlene, yeah.
Yep.
So that was kind of nice. But just based on the title and reading the back, you can kind of surmise where the story is going to go. You know, lamp, where does your mind go? Aladdin, genies, and a lot of that, all of that is there. There's everything you would expect from the story of Aladdin for the most part, and a lot of the other, the Alibaba, you know, yeah, which I've never actually read. I don't.
Haven't either.
Yeah, so, but I mean, for being a, you know, essentially a tie-in novel to the TV series, the author, Greg Cox, I think did a really good job of capturing the characters in book form. You know, being based on TV series, you can read it. Obviously, you know, you read anything Flynn says, you hear Noah Wiley's voice in your head. You hear, you hear Jenkins' voice in your head, and that sort of thing. But they caught the, you know, the way they speak, and, you know, any sort of internal, like when they trying to describe, you know, Cassie's ability, you know, to see and hear and taste and smell, you know, numbers and all, you know, patterns and that sort of thing. They do a pretty good job of putting that into written form. Obviously, if you watch the TV series, you know what they're talking about. You can see it in your head. You know that thing Cassie does where she, you know, flings her hands in front of her and is moving really rapidly and speaking, but they capture that really well. So it's a fun little romp, and for a first go round, I think they did a good job.
Tie-in that series, was really impressed with this, and I'm really looking forward to the next one coming out in April.
Yes, the Librarians and the Mother Goose chase.
Mother Goose.
Yeah.
Now that should be interesting, because I mean, we had the Fables in season 1. I wonder what's going to happen with Mother Goose, because they've even had the little nod towards Alice in Wonderland this season.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and I wonder though too, knowing based on the title of the next book, but they reference goose chases and Mother Goose a couple of times, so I almost wonder if the next book is going to take place before this one, because Flynn talks about encountering Mother Goose.
Yes.
Or maybe if
It should be interesting.
yeah. Or if maybe the story structure will be similar to this, where it goes between flashbacks of some adventure Flynn had before to the team that we know now. And if you notice on the cover, the picture on the cover, there's no Flynn to be found in the picture. Nope. No Flynn whatsoever. Which, considering the story, that makes sense, because the modern day Librarians team, Flynn doesn't appear. He doesn't work alongside the team. Any appearance by Flynn is purely in flashback form. Because we're still in that. Flynn doesn't want to work with a team. He'd rather go off and do his own thing part of the story. So. I mean, I don't know how much you could say about a book. I mean, it's an easy read. It's not very long. It's 286 pages. So. But does, you know, it adds an extra layer to the Librarians' lore, I guess.
Are those of
Huh?
and that is also available. I was just saying that there's an audiobook for
Oh, yeah.
this.
go partake.
Well, audiobooks are your thing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, they would rather.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally cool.
Yeah.
However it gets into your brain.
Yep.
Through your eyeballs.
Through your ears. Yeah.
It's all.
I like holding.
After a fashion.
Yeah. I like holding the book, which is why I even bought the book and not the ebook, even though I could have tablet or whatever and read it that way. But I really like holding the books, even though at this point I'm really trying to really get back into reading and not just staring at a screen. But finding the time to just sit and read an actual book is difficult, but I did it, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Hooray!
Yep. With that, season 3 of the television show itself. Oh, what can we say about the Librarians that we haven't already said? This show.
It's still fun and enjoyable, and it's still fluffy. It's what it's there to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Season 4.
Yes.
Season 4 it has been viewed, so we're getting there's.
Which that's.
This season it was. A little worried they were. It's still the Librarians. I mean, it's not Arrow.
Yeah.
I don't. They got into some deep stuff. Character. I mean, I can rewatch some of the episodes, but I think my favorite episode, as I'm sitting here now thinking about it, is the one with where they're going to the Bermuda Triangle and with the airplane, and they have to, and Flynn ends up in this strange Alice in Wonderland sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just loved all the interactions with passengers on the airplane, and they're trying to calm all the people down. Yeah, and he's speaking like this centuries-old version of Spanish, where these people are like, "Okay, I think I get it, but you're fancy." It sounds very archaic to them. So they had some fun with that, and just the relationship between Flynn and the Librarians. Because it always feels like Flynn, like you were talking about the book, where he gets to just do his own. The other Librarians team up, and he's going to go be the lone wolf thing. I could actually do more with a team. And it's like, yeah, and it only took you 3 seasons to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
and I like too how we got more backstory with Jenkins, even Flynn, because they brought in more of the movie vampires, and Jenkins was like, yeah, I actually happened to fall in love with a vampire back in the day. Shocked the heck out of.
But it was everything. Still, yeah, and it was. Yep, I've seen those movies. You could still understand what's going on in the story. Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
In the movie, it's an extra little Easter egg. But if you haven't, you're not lost.
No, you're not.
I really kind of want to watch the
Jenkins
movies now.
It was perfect.
Yep. Or are you saying?
I say between the references in the show and in the book, I kind of really want to go and watch the movies now. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but yeah, people should go watch the movies if they can. It's just if you haven't, you're okay still.
Yeah.
But because they are a lot of fun. I mean, it's the same campy, fun silliness of It's just more up and things.
Yeah.
And let's see, the Curse of Cindy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I actually watched that one twice because I was just so like dumbstruck, I guess. Because I'm like, wow, that whole like I got it. I wasn't like, I like this that all these people would show over this one woman,
yeah,
who on a yeah, it was the witch lady making the potion, and it was just cute seeing Ezekiel, open up and be like, well, I like you.
Yeah.
And because, Ezekiel's always, I love myself and I don't need anybody else. Or, he's very cocky, and seeing him soft and squishy. It's kind of like the video game episode last season. Where he's not the hardened thief that he makes himself out to be. And it's like, oh, you're just a big old fluff ball.
Yeah. There's a heart of gold in there inside Ezekiel Jones. Yeah.
You do have a heart.
Yeah.
An itty bitty one.
Yeah.
And then there was the Tears of a Clown episode with Felicia Day and Sean Astin.
Sean Astin, yeah. With the carnival.
He was so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that he was supposed to be, but oh my gosh, like that whole premise of he's trying to get this girl that he loved so long ago because of the carnival, and it's just like,
it was a
dude,
communication.
Yeah.
I was coming back. I was just getting this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of screwed up big time.
Yeah.
Although the clown outfits, Librarian, the team wears are so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them.
Well, and then Jenkins teaming up with that kid in the beginning was good.
Oh yes, I think they gave Jenkins so many good moments in this season. Not he hasn't, but I think they really made for use of character.
Especially with the finale, I mean, him facing down Nessa Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they described you as ornery. And Jake is like, yeah, that's just for my friends. I mean, for you and your backup singers, I'd be willing to get downright nasty. I was like, nice. Perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, because of this whole thing with APEP and the potential for pure evil to be released into the world, we get the smaller stories, but the overall arc. But it allows us to, it's given us some more backstory. We got some more Jenkins backstory. We have a little thing there in the episode where with Cassie, where she thinks she's got the hots for Jenkins essentially, and Jenkins has to put her down nicely, letting her know that he's already pledged himself to someone else, and apparently it was Charlene actually. Because we have obviously the last from the beginning we've known that Cassie's had this tumor that potentially could kill her at any moment, but it was also, she thought it was the source of her abilities, and it reaches a point where we doctor tells her we've got to operate or there's no hope for you, and push comes to shove, and she ends up having the tumor removed, and actually her ability becomes stronger. So But she was so afraid that
like
she would...
it was actually inhibiting her.
Yeah. Her full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was inhibiting her full potential.
Yeah.
And then she has to relearn her power.
Yeah.
It's in the next episode, like, trying to do it, and it's so overwhelming that she has to stop, and so it's like, yay, her tumor's not a problem anymore, but, you almost have to, start over again with what you knew before. She gets it.
Yep.
It's just take some time.
Yep.
And then Jake went off to the Monkey King, who was almost monkey-like.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Mm-hmm. That whole episode.
Yeah.
Somebody wakes up Crummy and banana smoothies.
Yeah. Well, there's this, this whole thing with, APEP being on the loose, and the librarians, some of them, it depends on the circumstances, but they're all toying with the idea of bringing magic in as a tool to do their job as librarians, and some of them are for it, some of them are not. But it turns out that everything, Cassie having the tumor removed, and Jake, his I don't know if they ever gave that thing a name, the tattoo.
It was some kind of mark, but the name of it.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if they ever gave it a name, but he ends up with this like
think about soul of.
I think it was the staff.
Yeah. He ends up with this mystical tattoo from the Monkey King, and then
it actually ends up being useful in the finale.
Yeah.
Same with the love potion that Ezekiel kept.
Yes. So they end up using it to turn APEP essentially into a human, because he's pure evil, but by Cassie, with her ability to be able to project to people and put thoughts in their head, she's able to give him thought and love and a soul, essentially, and therefore makes him human, and therefore they can use the eye
of Ra.
The Eye of Ra because to use the Eye of Ra requires a sacrifice of a human life, and of course Flynn, being Flynn, was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have to sacrifice myself, and it turns out that the librarians
they're able to, that didn't sit well with everybody, even though they were still reeling from the thought of Baird turning them into DOSA.
Yeah, yeah. The entire time I'm like, What are you doing, Eve? 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 No, okay, it's just a trip.
The whole time, the whole time I'm thinking, this show, it's not that kind of show where people, betray each other willy nilly.
Yeah.
It's so like something's, and
yeah.
Specifically, it was Flynn's thing about Librarians.
Yeah. So, you guys
I was just
feel safe.
So I'm like, I was just for it. But then Flynn be all self-sacrificing because he's been librarian for, 10 years or so?
Very long time.
Charlene. It's like, no, you don't.
I think Baird has learned her lesson from Jenkins that you better put Jenkins in the loop.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was going with that choke. Like,
yes. Jenkins may look like an old man now, but he is still very much he's still very much the warrior knight.
He's still Galahad.
Yeah.
He is Galahad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's the Librarians. You know, it's pretty fluffy, but every now and then they do, you know, get into, you know, kind of serious stuff. You know, when Cassie gets this news that, you know, it's surgery now or there's no hope for you, and she gets an offer to be turned into a vampire, and she almost takes it.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's that.
I don't think anyone would have blamed her. I don't know if she would have continued to be, but it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of times in this season where like one team could have just, you know, been written out and gone away for, and you just kind of think, no, you can't split them up because that's not how it works.
Yeah. Nope. Well, and we had been teased that, you know, there was potentially someone was going to, quote unquote, leave or die, you know, however you want to interpret that. And thankfully the core team is intact, but Charlene did decide to end her time. But apparently we learned it. Yeah.
Mirror, so.
Yeah. So
they could bring her back.
Yeah.
Yes. With the usual mirror reminders. Receipts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Receipts. Oh gosh, that was it the second episode where Lynn is looking for Charlene, like, oh, she's in danger, and she's being fawned over by all these hot shirtless men. Yes, forever. She's like, Flynn, what are you doing here? I was trying to hide from APEP. Now you found me.
Yeah.
He's just like, yep, I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Yep. Good job, Charlene.
Yeah. Charlene loves her receipts. It's even mentioned in the book. She hounds Flynn for receipts for everything he does. Which she does make a reasonable explanation in the book about why. It's like, you know, top secret organization designed to protect the world from magical objects. You know, if we just, from the libraries, the actual library, not the library, but like the New York Metropolitan Library, you know, keeping things in the books with receipts, it makes it look less like a super shady secret, you know, thing going on with magic and all that. So it's to keep essentially the feds, you know, the IRS and all that off the scent of the library and the librarian. So it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, now too, it's also going to keep DOSA off.
Yeah.
Their
well,
too.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
You and your crackpot team, you know.
Yeah.
Pandora's box. And who was the brilliant one who opened up the sarcophagus and got possessed by APEP?
Yeah. Well, in her defense, Baird did kind of egg her into doing that. So, that was kind of the plan, but at the same time, it does make DOSA look like a bunch of idiots. So hopefully they've come to an agreement now, instead of, you know, government organization trying to take over the library because they think they know what's best. Because obviously they don't.
And I'm wondering, because this is all Flynn and Baird's idea, when Jenkins got locked up, I'm wondering who actually came up with the thing to keep him in the box that everybody had to get out of. You have to play dumb. I mean, it almost seemed like Flynn kind of looking back on it.
Well, we don't know exactly how much Baird told them, you know, But obviously that was part of her plan was for DOSA to come and empty the library. If they were successful in getting APEP there, they wanted to keep as many of the artifacts protected as possible. So, which was very smart on Baird's part, actually. So she explained that. I'm like, oh, that is good.
Well, Yep. It's so funny because like DOSA this whole time is like, oh yeah, we're one step ahead, and we're gonna get and beat them and all this. Have the librarian like totally uses that against them, and it's just like, oh my gosh, because the whole time, every time DOSA showed up, I was just like, oh, you guys again, why?
Yeah.
And then they actually proved useful. And they didn't like it. And I was like, ha ha ha.
Yep. That's pretty much it, actually.
A home office feel from DOSA. Yeah. It's like, is Prosper gonna come back and rear his ugly head? I thought we took care of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, go away already.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with having Eve as guardian with DOSA being the threat really worked in the library's favor, because she comes from a military background. She comes from that line of work, so she knows how they think and was able to apply that to the master plan. Obviously the whole Flynn sacrificing himself to save the entire universe part, Eve was not abreast of. But she's like, that wasn't part of the plan.
It's like, what are you doing? No, stop.
Yeah. And we get some nice Flynn and Eve feels. Wow. That ship, it's a little rocky, but for the most part, it's still going strong. That whole bit when they're with the Bermuda Triangle, the fight that they have in the terminal, airport security.
Yes. Like, stage ends up kind of being a real fight, and we're just like, and the other librarians are like, should we let Mom and Dad just have it out in public like this? Shouldn't we try to get them somewhere more private? Where not every.
And then they kiss and make up at the end of their fight, and the entire terminal is like, yay!
Oh, it was so cute.
It was. Oh. It was. Those two. They're something else.
Oh, indeed.
Oh my!
There was. Although I've got to say, Jake and Ezekiel are becoming buddies here.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of figure that with an ensemble cast like the get to where everybody interacts with everybody else at once, but it's so funny because Jake was always when he started out, he's the straight-laced, follow rules and has a sense of honor type of thing, and Ezekiel is he's a thief and he's proud of it, so Jake really doesn't trust him too much, and now they're like, I mean, they're not best buddies, but the way they enter back and forth with each other is funny, and it's just I'm kind of enjoying their friendship.
There was that one little Indiana Jones scene between the two of them where Zeke's talking about that coin. He's just like, that should belong in a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. When we had the
it's just
the one episode where Cassie and Stone go to the reunion of.
Oh yeah.
The demon reunion.
The demon. It was so funny because I'm like, it's right out of Norse mythology. I'm like, like, these are like Loki's relatives from Thor. But they got Ezekiel back at the library, and he ends up having to babysit an egg from the Loch Ness Monster. And he's so cute.
These eggs.
Yeah.
Yes, and he doesn't want to, but then he ends up like
he finds his maternal side.
They're very maternal about it.
Yeah.
Replacement for Stumpy.
Yes. Oh, he needs a new.
Yeah.
Well, then
We even got a glimpse of Stumpy this season, did he? Or he just mentioned it.
It was mentioned.
Yeah. And he's still sad.
Yeah.
And then there was the one scene where Stone and Flynn are up. They're under the effects of the Mutual Appreciation Society, almost.
Oh, the Cindy episode where they both, or they both, and Ezekiel's like, I didn't fall for that, and he didn't, and Flynn is like, I can fight anything. It's kind of the same about it, and they fall under the spell, and a way to get him out from under that. Oh, because he loves Elf so much.
Yeah.
Which actually not being the case for this.
But for Jones, it seems plausible. That's the thing. Yeah. That episode was just weird.
Yeah.
But that was the one that was written by Gareth Edwards, so take that how you will.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually got two Doctor Who writers to work on.
Yeah.
Edwards and drawing a blank on who it was.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Who wrote?
Just remember that if the Curse of Cindy comes off very weird, it was written by the same guy who wrote us A Unicorn and the Wasp. So, for Doctor Who.
I actually quite like that episode, but I get the feeling I'm in the very much the minority.
Yeah,
I liked it, Chrissy. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. Tom McRae wrote the self-fulfilling. That's the one. That was the Indiana Jones type one, and Tom McRae wrote. Didn't he write? He wrote the Cybermen two-parter, and I want to say The Girl Who Waited, but now I'm not sure.
Was that Lodger too, or
that's who it was? Okay. He did write The Girl Who Waited. I think Gareth Edwards wrote the Lodger.
Oh.
Yeah, Gareth Roberts wrote The Lodger. So.
Gareth Roberts, sorry.
Yeah, so. It's okay.
Yeah, he wrote Curse of Cindy, and his Doctor Who is the Shakespeare Code, Unicorn the Wasp, Lodger, and Closing Time.
Okay, there we go.
And The Caretaker. Yep. So I don't know if people because I get the iTunes season pack for the Librarians, and it comes with each episode comes with a writer director vlog, which they do a little intro. So on those little featurettes, they had the writers on there, and Dean Devlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was talking to both. He talked to both Gareth Roberts and Tom McRae on their separate writer vlogs, and it's so funny. It's like, okay, here's the guy who's the creator, executive producer, showrunner of the Librarians, and he's geeking out over these writers who he hired because they wrote Doctor Who episodes. And it's quite funny. I don't know if those featurettes are online anywhere, or if you can find them, but they are on iTunes. I mean, you'll have to pay for them. They are a lot of. I'm gonna look up and see if they're on YouTube or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice. If
I don't see it. Okay.
I don't do the iTunes thing, so.
It's an exclusive thing for people who buy like the season pass of the Librarians.
Yeah, I'm sure, or it might even be like on the DVD, maybe. But it's
an exclusive thing to see the content.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that. Trying to see if there was a way for people to see them, but anyway, they're fun. So if you don't, because I don't have regular TV, because I'm gonna pay so much money for that every month when I can just buy the one or two shows I want on iTunes. So they're fun.
My sister doesn't have cable, so she comes over here and gets caught up on shows on our cable.
That works.
My parents still pay for cable. Mm-hmm. So my sister, who doesn't pay for cable, comes over and gets caught up on her shows using our cable.
I haven't had cable in years.
I can understand. I might do the same thing if I lived on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I moved out, I wouldn't pay for cable. I'd watch online, or maybe my parents caught up on shows.
You That's the Librarians. That's where we're at. Season 3. It's been renewed for season 4, so we know for sure we're going to get more, which is always a good thing. So that's the one thing with this particular show is it's like we all know how good it is, but the fact that it's on TNT, which is kind of a random channel. It's not a mainstream network or anything. And it's also on Sunday nights, which puts it up against other stuff like football and Once Upon a Time and other things. But it's strong enough to warrant it keep coming back, which is good. So. The fandom, it may not be very mainstream compared to others, but they're mighty. So. Which is about all we can ask for, actually. So. Keep the love going, so we can keep this show going. It's definitely a hidden gem, as far as.
Which is why we continually talk about it, because we want people to hear about it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, because we like it.
Yep.
And that's why we have this podcast, talk about the things that we like.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we have anything else to say. Watch the Librarians.
I'm like, how else do we say this? Watch the show.
We can only talk about it so much. You have to experience. I was the same way.
I'm sure you don't have a gazillion other things that you want to.
Well, yeah, but I would like. I going into it, you guys started watching it before I did. I came into it later, and once I saw it for myself, I'm like, oh, okay.
Funny, because I'll be watching it when watching it, it'll come up, it'll hit my iTunes Monday. Walking like, oh, are you watching the Librarians? He's like, I need to. I hadn't watched season 1 and hasn't watched any since, but he likes it. It's just he doesn't have a lot of time for TV. But I'm like, come and we'll watch.
Come join in the fun. You'll enjoy it, I promise.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say about Librarians season 3, or?
No.
It's fun. Go watch it.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the new book.
If it's always waiting for something, isn't it?
Oh yes.
But if you, dear listener, have thoughts on this most recent season of Librarians, or any of the aired episodes of Librarians, or movies even, and you want to chime in with those, please do so. You can send us in feedback our email at 5ish Fangirls. So go to our website, which is the5ishfangirls.com, and there you will find links to all of our social media stuff. Mostly Facebook and Instagram is where we do the most people. We also and a Pinterest word, and we're on YouTube.
Hopefully when we record the next show with our audio.
We have a Patreon. We're a small time operation.
Yeah.
We do the best with what we have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
stick with us through thick and
yeah.
We
certainly appreciate those of you who keep listening.
Just as much. Yeah, just as much as we appreciate our Patreon supporters who do any support that you guys get listening or donating, or just sharing our Facebook page is more than appreciated, more than welcomed, and we're grateful for it. And so thank you. Mm-hmm. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can do so at our website. And another great way that you can support us is by shopping through our Amazon link. And I didn't make Jared do kind of own, but he replaced his Amazon shortcut to go to our website first, then go to Amazon. So whenever we're buying stuff, we go through our site, and you don't pay anything extra. We get a small cut of, Amazon gives a kickback, and that helps support the show. So it's a small thing, but it does make a difference. So for any of you who have been doing that as well, thank you again, and just thank you all of our listeners. We love you guys. I feel like we don't say it enough, even though we try to say it every week, but we do. We love you guys, and you're the best. And every time I see on my Facebook notification someone has liked your post on 5ish Fangirls, I'm just like, oh, yay. People do listen to us.
Warm fuzzies. We do love the warm fuzzies.
Yep. Warm fuzzies. Oh,
yep.
Great.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, if you're still listening, dear listeners, thank you. Hopefully Skype will cooperate next week. Apparently it's like this for all of us. We all are hearing whatever you're hearing, so it must be a Skype thing. So something in the air, or the water, or something. I'm gonna blame it on APEP. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I'm gonna do.
Yeah, blame it on the God of Chaos. That's fine by me. So
plenty of that to go around. That's for sure.
Yeah, really. So. All right. Well, before something decides to spontaneously combust, like a vampire or something. Too soon? I'm sorry. That was not nice, probably. Anyway, too late. Oh my! And the loopies have started. Okay, all right. Let's sign off.
That's a sign that we're.
That's a sign we need to cut it off. The hook is coming from the side of the stage. let's go ahead and sign off.
Well,
sign off.
Dear listeners, yes. Dear listeners, this is Chrissy in Salt Lake. Stay night.
This is Ellen in Wisconsin saying good evening.
This is Rick.
Oh my goodness, it sounds so bad. Anyway. Oh my. And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Good night, everyone.
You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.